works for me. So there was this one time I was shooting in Kerala and I was just like, oh yeah, coconut milk, like, all curries cooked in coconut gravy work for me. So I started doing that after a point where I was just like, no, I don't want anything cooked in coconut. For me, I feel like it's a shared responsibility, doesn't it? I always say that it takes, an army to raise a child. The fact is that when it comes to breastfeeding, it's that's why with Freedom to Feed, we want to talk about the fact that, it's about normalizing breastfeeding. And it's such an isolated kind of place that people already assume that they want to put the mother and the child in, and that's not how it works. I mean, when they talk about shared responsibility, it also means that your primary caregivers can come forward, do that with you, and even your husband. And that's where the first part, apart from your pregnancy, equal parenting kicks in. And we kind of were on that journey from the beginning. So whether it's if I had Meher on me and then, burping was just something that Angad would do all the time, or just understanding that your hunger pangs are way worse when you're breastfeeding as opposed to when you're pregnant, because, that time it's not that there's life inside you, but the life outside of you has taken everything away from you for at that point. And literally, like, every time I would feed her, I wouldn't have the energy to do anything because I felt like I just finished running 6 kilometers. And but he was always there, and I know that this time around as well I can take on this journey because I have my husband, my partner, the father of our children, who's going to be there with us. So from sterilizing the pump to burping Meher, or sometimes I would send breast milk home saying that I'm an hour away, but I'll pump and I'll send it back in an ice pack, and he would make sure it's the right time to kind of give her the milk, and he'd be there. So he's just so hands-on that, I mean, it's literally everything that he thinks that he can't do, which is producing the milk or taking her on, he's overcompensated in so many different ways. So even with hunger pangs at 3 a.m, because there was always that dream feed that used to happen, and there was invariably a time that the dream feed would wake me up because of either thirst or hunger, and he's just always there. And the thing is that he did not take that much leave when Meher was born, so it was through the nights I feel so bad to wake him up, but I mean, he was just there. It's not I was ever put on this guilt trip that, hey, I'm on set and I'm sleepy and it's your fault. None of that. Never ever. I think that breastfeeding should only be a choice for the mother and the child, not a choice of the workplace you're in. So if you need to bring your baby to work because your baby's feeding, that's a choice the mother should have, not the employer. Not the HR department, not value of real estate of your office. I remember reaching out when Freedom to Feed was started, and to this really big shopping mall which had a lot of footfall, and moms, they go through postpartum, they go through so much, just taking their children in a pram when they're 5 or 6 months old, and to be able to walk around and deciding that, hey, maybe husbands have gone to work. I'm just giving you a regular scenario of a woman who's probably sitting at home. So I just thought it'd be nice to reach out to, one of the grandest malls we have in Mumbai and ask them for breastfeeding space. And they were like, listen, you don't have to worry, we've got it all under control. And I asked them, so I said, where is the space? I said, in the bathroom, there's a sofa there. I was in shock because I was just like, why don't you give that real estate to a restaurant owner and say that your 3rd sofa or your 6th sofa of the restaurant will be in the bathroom? Would people eat there? No, right? So that's what I'm saying. People need to be a lot more sensitive. People need to normalize breastfeeding. People need to stop sexualizing it. People need to be, and I feel that this is one of those aspects in which women in sort of urban areas are far more empowered. And, we're still going to feed. You're not going to be able to stop us. We're still going to feed, but you have to give us space. By that, I mean, even stop staring at us when we do it. I remember taking her, I was still feeding her. I think it was Mauritius or Maldives. I can't remember. It was by the beach, and I was just like feeling the wind on my face, watching the sunset, and I had her on me, and I was feeding her. It was so liberating. Where can I do it here? Nowhere. So we need to normalize it a little more. You know, I actually took a lot of advice from my mom, and she's the most rational, practical person who's like not even on it. She's ahead of it. Like she's just like ahead of the curve when it comes to everything in life. So it's great. The best thing about being pregnant second time over, you are the best, and your experience is your best and most amazing expert that you can refer back to. So between my mom and between my daughter, who's somewhere between 2.5 and 3 years old, you know, I feel like she's so caring. My mom, of course, will be, you know, looking at what I need, and my daughter's so like, you know, she's such a little girl. She's so like girly. I feel like the three of us are a team, and we'll handle it. I feel like the mom knows best, and I feel like everyone wants to give advice, and everyone's out there to give advice, but she's like, oh, you don't know what I'm going through. Like, you know, it's like, if I'm, even through my pregnancy, both my pregnancies have been so different, and, you know, if I'm hormonal, and if I'm, you know, going through rough nights, and if I'm, you know, feeling uncomfortable, and my first pregnancy, I had backaches, and this time I don't have any backaches, but I've got extreme amount of nausea up to now. But it's just like, then people are like, okay, ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai, and I'm just like, okay, kya ho raha hai? Jo bhi ho raha hai, just leave me alone. That's what I want right now. And be mostly around, you know, husband and people who really care, and maybe not even be around anyone. No, I had exclusively breastfed Meher for the first 6 months, and then we went on to semi-solids, where I would add a meal slowly, and then I was continuously breastfeeding her. And then her next meal that was added was a little bit of formula, and I still continued to breastfeed her. So I breastfed her for about a year, and then of course the weaning off process started, because, you know, she started getting onto solids, but much later. So honestly, just hot water bags for your back, because you're just holding the baby so much, and you know, you don't actually really need too many creams that you need to put on yourself, because breast milk cures, because it's liquid gold. It just cures everything. And apart from that, you know, just using a pump and a sterilizer, because I was also expressing milk. You know, sometimes if she was sleeping and I'm awake, and just to match the time. And I feel like, oof, that journey is going to begin again. And I know nobody in the world can prepare you for it, but it's exhausting. Yeah, sometimes you eat something and you're like, okay, yay, instead of 3 ounces, I've made 6 ounces. And sometimes, you know, on an average, if you make 8 ounces, you make like 10, and you're like, this works for me. So there was this one time I was shooting in Kerala, and I was just like, oh yeah, coconut milk, like, you know, all curries cooked in coconut gravy work for me. So I started doing that after a point where I was just like, no, I don't want anything cooked in coconut curry. Till now, I'm just like, oh no, I don't want it, because I had so much of it in that 1 month. As moms, we need to like have like, I had like literally you know, maybe it's the 4G in me, but 4G regiment when it came to like breastfeeding. But yes, the fears of getting engorged or getting sore nipples, or, you know, all the other problems, the sleepless nights and the exhaustion that comes with the territory, the longer you can do it for, great. If you can't do it, it's okay. Like, just because you decide not to breastfeed your child does not mean that you're not an amazing mom. You're still going to get that, you know, in your, you don't even want to win that medal, because you know that nobody can love your child the way you do. You know, you have this being that comes out of you, and you're ready to take a bullet for this person, you know, and we don't know where this love comes from. So whether you want to feed, whether you don't want to feed, whether the pros and cons outweigh, yes, there are lots of pros to breastfeeding, but if you decide not to do it, now I'm a huge advocate of giving women space and new moms all the space they want, that it's fine. you know, you're still a super mom. But if you want to do it, do it. I think that, you know, at a personal level, I would want to do it for as long as, you know, I can. I have it in my ability. If my baby latches like the first one did, and professionally, if I have the time, if I have to make some choices, maybe I'll express milk, I'll send it back home, you know, from set. I have done that. The hustle is constant. Right now, it will probably be, the first year will be about breast milk and feed times. After that, it's going to be about, you know, the terrible twos, and then it's going to be about like, what school should I put my child in, and then, you know, where else, whatever else, you know, it just goes on and on. It never ends.